Dave here, and today we're going to check out the work of Halil Ural. He's an artist based in Helsinki, Finland. He does have a very unique style. He likes to use the flat brush a lot. I've seen him use that brush, or that kind of flat brush, or his flat brush in a, I think it's either in the initial direction mode or it's in the pen tilt mode. He likes to treat that, or his flat brush, as kind of like a palette knife, right? Now, thankfully, this guy does have a YouTube channel. He doesn't have a lot of videos in his YouTube, but he has enough to kind of make you understand that he has a certain approach to painting. And a lot of his paintings, based on his videos, like his approach is very direct in a way. Even if he does use like layers, he's kind of like me, in the sense that I'm not very clean with the way I use my layers. Think of John Juan and Roberto. If you've ever seen his tutorials, right? He's not very clean with his layers. Like, he just keeps adding layer upon layer upon layer. In a way, even though there is this reliance on safety when using so many layers, it's still pretty direct, you know? I've seen Halil Ural just kind of paint over his mistakes, like on a new layer, and just merge it down. So it's a very simple and Photoshoppy approach. You know, it's pretty standard, I guess. But it does show you that Halil leans more towards the again, he's more of a painter. Like, it does show off, or show in his work, right? He also has like a variety of software skills based on his about page on his ArtStation. But I think he's more of a 2D kind of guy, right? And yeah, it's very playful with his strokes, you know? And even in this image, like, you can see the sharpness, right? Not sharpness in terms of grittiness, but in terms of, like, each stroke has its kind of like, it's kind of blocky and very triangular in a way, if you can see it, right? And I don't see a lot of texture brushes being used. A lot of his work seems, or is, smooth in a way, like very, very glossy. But because of the variety of hues, right, of values, it just feels full, right? And he likes to play a lot with the lighting, especially when it comes to the edges and shit. That's just his, like, everything. He has a very unique style, right? And again, he's more of a painter, as you can see. You know, like, again, you can see that kind of triangular-ishness, right? And it's not a rendered piece, you know? It's very painterly, right? And you can see, I think he does use the mixer brush a lot, like this back and forth brush strokes, right? And very, very interesting pose. Damn! The New World Order. Anyway. Right? I think he did use 3D here, maybe. Hard to say. But yeah. If ever he does use 3D, he does obviously paint over it, and his painting approach still shows. And I do think he adds effects in the end. He does add some noise, and maybe a bit of lens correction. That's my guess. To create that shift, right? And again, this guy is not a renderer, right? He's not a very... I mean, he can do marketing art, but a lot of his work is playful, kind of exaggerated. Think of the shapes of Mikhail Sotriuk. He does a lot of environment sketches, and a lot of his work is graphical in nature, right? I do see a bit of that in this, or in Halil's work, except it's in painting form, right? Like, it's in an oil painting kind of approach, right? Even with the way the reflections were done in this hood of the car, right? It's very, very painterly, kind of like an oil painting, not like a gouache. You know, it's a bit heavy on the solidness, right? There's more blending, I guess, right? And there are softer cuts between values, you know. It's not very it's a bit graphical, right, in terms of the proportions, the shape, but the rendering is kind of it's kind of smooth, right? It has that kind of oiliness to it. Fuck. Maybe he did use 3D here, right? Or maybe not. It's so hard. So Ninja Turtles concept, right? Very, very interesting. Ooh. Shredder. I'm not sure how he does the background. He kind of does it like using Zhang, the artist we reviewed recently. Yeah, one of the artists. Where he, like, there are parts in the background where it's just faded, pretty much, and there's hardly anything in it, you know, and it's kind of just left to imagination. And maybe it is part of the composition, you know, like the detail of these characters are complemented by the emptiness of the background, right? So complex, simple, right? That's just my guess. So we have a crane that's part crab. Very, very interesting. I mean, look at the painterly strokes here, right? Done with a flat brush. Right? It has that oil-like effect to it. So maybe this guy does have a traditional background, perhaps. This kind of style is not very common in concept art, I think. Like, you're encouraged to be a bit more rendered, right? More finished. I mean, not to say this isn't finished. I mean, it's more of a study, quick concept, but because of 3D, the rendering programs are kind of, there has to be a lean towards a more rendered kind of look. So, you know, I'm glad that he still succeeds because it is interesting, you know, it shows you the individuality of the artist, right? And it's not just one similar constant style, and we do need that sense of autonomy, especially nowadays, right? Look at the reflected lighting here, the orange, right? The reds. Again, playful brushstrokes. He's kind of like Shinku Kim. Shinku Kim also likes to use the flat brush, except he does mechs way more. Pretty cool. So we have the stay home, stay safe slogan. Yellow fever. You know, this is kind of scary. I do like this kind of piece. It really shows you it makes you think, right? Like, will it come to a point where you start burning people just because they're not, right? I'm pretty scared. Well, not that scared, but I'm concerned. Reminds me of one of the pieces of Faraz Shanyar, the one with the Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse had a gun, I think. Like, there were a bunch of Disney characters, or there were a bunch of men with guns with like mascot heads of Disney characters, and it has the same kind of vibe. Very, very dark, and this could be us in the future, folks, if we let things happen. Anyway, again, it's a full scene, right? It's more of a commentary piece. Now this one is more of a fantasy, right? Nice babe. Very, very bloody scene. Now this one is heavily stylized, right? You can tell by the wolf, right? It's a bit too cartoony for me, but hey, again, you can still see the kind of his painting style is just so natural, right? Reminds me of Mike Avezado. I guess they have the same kind of painterly approach, right? Some more exaggeration here. Very, very cute monsters. Babe running. Damn, the thigh gap. So we have like a sharktopus. Sharknado! Yeah. Anyway. Right? Even the waves, the way the white part of the water was done, you know, where it kind of splashes and collides, right? And even the shadow right here, where, yeah. And you can even see a bit of the some of the tentacles behind or under the water, right? Showing through or beyond, like the surface of the water. Anyway, now this one does have a lot of Frank Frazetta vibes, right? Very, very barbarian-ish-esque. Damn, look at the muscles of this horse, right? Ugh. So jacked, right? So maybe he is influenced by Frank Frazetta, perhaps. Or at least the Conan concept, right? Damn. Epic scene. Now this one's more realistic, I think. And based on his description here, it says a seascape, no refs. So this was all based on his imagination or visual library. I'm very, very impressed, right? And in this piece, he's actually going into more detail, right? It's harder to see his bigger brushstrokes. I mean, you can still see it, especially in the foreground, but it's pretty intense, right? The way he did the shadow, the soft shadow here, being casted from this kind of a rock thing on this side. Seeing this beam of light, right? The splashing of the water of the waves on the farther side of the scene, and the seagull, right? Even itself has its own kind of shadow, right? Very, very interesting, right? Top notch. Now here we have a lot more blending. It could be a keyframe, right? But yeah. You know, I've noticed a lot of painters tend to be good keyframe artists as well, right? Well, not all, but you know, just because of the way they approach composition, you know, I think they do have an advantage, right? Cowboy concept. Again, flat brushes everywhere being used. So here we have a dinosaur. Very, very stylized characters. The face is heavily broken down into like different forms, basic forms, right? Maybe he does add a bit of a blur effect in the corners, right? In the vignette, or in the not in the vignette, in the surrounding perimeter of the image, right? Because it does get very, very soft. Or maybe he just tends to use less brushwork, so maybe it gives the illusion of softness, maybe. Hard to say. So we have a boat mech. And you can see some folks here trying to hide from this beast of a ship. And a lot of his work tends to be flat in the sense that he's not exactly skewing the shot too much, you know? Right? Think of this shot right here. It's very, very, it's simple, like straight to the point, rather. If ever he does skew the perspective a bit, it's going to be in a close-up form, right? So we have this babe, this cave woman, and these men from another tribe, or from another realm, I guess. A more advanced, I would say, realm. And she's obviously jacked as hell, fuck. Kinda hot. Again, with the lighting effects here, the reds in between the area in light and the area in shadow, right? Look at those forearms, super thick. Her forearms are thicker than mine. Look at the hue variety in this bra fabric, right? Oranges, greens, browns, some reds. And look at how the skin is full of life. Even this leg right here has a lot of greens. I do see this kind of approach a lot in Frank Frazetta's paintings, oil paintings, right? And even this pose, this caveman kind of pose, or cave woman, Queen. It looks like she's wearing heels here, so it's kind of... Anyway. But yeah. Even the hair was done well. You can even see some blues in the hair. Damn. Right? Am I right? And even some veins. Or some cuts. Wow. Amazing. Some kind of a mech with some balloons, right? Again, flat brush with some noise. A very, very quick sketch, perhaps. Right? You can see the big brush strokes right over here in the gown. In this kind of clothing right here, right? Cloth. The background kept very, very simple. Here we have a few of his speed paints. These were done, as of this recording 4 years ago. So, or at least they were posted 4 years ago. So this could be a keyframe from a film, perhaps. Reminds me of the sketches of, what's his name? Satish Kumar, I think his name is. And they have the same vibe in terms of the color choices. They're very, very exploratory, experimental. I think this is a keyframe from Mad Max, maybe. Some more barbarian types of artwork. I mean, look at everything here, right? Some oranges, some yellows, some bluish green, right? And you can see that kind of, again, that triangulation. Is that a word? I see a lot of triangles in this work, right? And that's the sharpness that I'm referring to. Not exactly the grittiness kind of sharpness, but the like it's as if it was painted with a palette knife. I think that's the basic kind of idea that I'm trying to evoke or explain. Fuck. Ooh, this one's pretty different. I don't see a lot of flat brush being used. It's a bit more. The title of this is Edge Control Experiment, so it has that watercolor kind of effect here. But yeah, pretty cool. It's a bit tighter. It's still painterly, but it's not like this, And yeah, being able to experiment, spending time experimenting is such an important thing when it comes to your own development, just because it's a way for you to try things out without investing too much time on it, right? The point is, sketch more on the side, right? So this is the last piece we're going to review in Halil Ural's work. So this one is entitled Abortion Survivor. I mean, this is a commentary piece right here, right? Kind of scary, kind of sad. I mean, maybe it's a commentary piece, or maybe it's a product of some kind of creature zombie, right? Some kind of radiation fallout. Or maybe it's a commentary about, yeah, anyway, so that's it for Halil Ural. Follow him on ArtStation. He does have a YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to him there. He has an Instagram, he has a Twitter, I think, as well. I will be linking all of the links in the description below, so no worries. Keep training, keep painting, keep learning, and stay free.